So what do you think is going on with the Trump administration picking fights with all other countries?
Honestly, I don't think the reason is clear. I'm not sure a lot of people understand what is going on. Maybe it's for self-preservation. Maybe they are sensing that they are losing grip of power.
A lot of Americans don't want the war with Iran. They don't want the war that allegedly Israel pushed U.S. to fight. A lot of people don't want it, right? A lot of people want to be comfortable with one job. They want to be able to feed themselves, feed their families. And if this is happening, does that mean the U.S. is slowly turning to a third world country where only the rich folks get everything and they keep everything, and the people at the bottom can't take care of themselves?
I mean, that's almost that's $1 million question. Only time will tell. With time, we can answer that question. With regards to Cuba, if I were Colombia, I would be worried because it looks like Colombia will be next after Cuba. With regards to to the BRICS countries, I think Trump will definitely pick on or invade the smaller countries that makes up the BRIC. But the bigger fishes, the bigger ones, he will just let them go. A country like Russia, a country like China, India will probably let them go. But the smaller countries like Nigeria, South Africa, I think they will have a field day with them. I don't think they will honestly fold their arms and watch people trying to circumvent the dollar. Whether that will be a good fight or that will be a justifiable fight, whether that's a justification to invade people, I'm not exactly sure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Y&E podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, don't wait any longer. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage with us in the comment section. What do you all think is going on with Trump? Or what is going on with the Trump administration? It looks like they're picking fights with everybody around the world. They've picked fights with Iran recently. They're looking to focus on Cuba. What's going on in Cuba? We know that they removed the Venezuelan president, and Trump is looking towards doing a friendly takeover of the government in Cuba. And it looks like this is the direction of the U.S. international policy these days. If they don't get what they want from you, it looks like they're going to try to cause some mayhem in your country, or they're going to try to take over your government. Sad that it happened in Venezuela, and it's about to happen in Cuba. We don't know what's going to happen in Nigeria because there hasn't been talks of regime change in Nigeria because of the insecurity issues in Nigeria. But we've seen that the U.S. have at least launched one or two attacks against the terrorist organizations in Nigeria. And the U.S. is picking fights all over the place. They haven't picked fight with North Korea yet. Is it because North Korea doesn't have oil, or is it because they have nuclear weapon? So what do you think is going on with the Trump administration picking fights with all other countries?
Honestly, I don't think the reason is clear. I'm not sure a lot of people understand what is going on. Maybe it's for self-preservation. Maybe they are sensing that they are losing grip of power. Oftentimes they complain about Joe Biden's administration that he left a lot of things unchecked. People went rogue. A lot of countries stopped respecting America and all of those stuff. But for me, it's not exactly clear because even the war in Iran, I'm not entirely sure that is for the oil. Most people don't know what the reason for that war. Even Trump administration is. I don't think they know why they went to that war. They cited regime change. They cited protecting the people of Iran, but they turned around and they bombed school full of children. They talked about a whole lot of things, They just throwing everything to the wall to see what sticks. I'm not exactly sure why they're going to Cuba. And for me, I would think that people should let people do what they want to do. But I guess that is not the case when it comes to international politics. But for me, I would think that, countries should do what is in their best interest, and the country should be able to, to have the form of government that they feel like is the best for their people. If they think democracy is good for them, let them practice democracy. If they feel like capitalism is good for them, if another country feels like communism or socialism is good for them, let them practice it and practice it within the borders of their country. I'm not exactly sure why countries dictate to other countries what they can do within their borders and what they cannot do within their borders. It baffles me. I wish there would be somebody to explain it to me like a toddler, because as it is, I'm not entirely sure how US go around the world and telling people what to do and what not to do, who to do business with and who not to do business with, what form of government they can practice and what the form of government they can practice. Look at what he told the Iranian people, that he will have a say who they select for their next leader. And then I listened to DW program where they essentially interviewing an Iranian official, and the Iranian official was like saying, this is our country. We do what we want. We don't care what any other person think. But Trump is saying that the new leader is not going to last if you don't have a say in it. So I'm not exactly sure where they derive that power from. But I wish there is somebody out there to explain it to me.
I definitely agree with you. I don't understand it either. And how will the American president or American residents or American citizens feel if the Russian president is saying, hey, I need to have a say on who becomes the next president in the US, or Xi Jinping in China put out a statement saying that he wants to have a say in what goes on in the US election. There's been allegations of them trying to manipulate the election result or trying to manipulate information that they put out there to the US electorate. But it's not up to this extent that a leader of a country is coming out and saying, hey, we need to have a say in who becomes a leader in your country. It's absurd. And the people of the country will never trust their leader. If their leader is a yes man to the colonial power or to the leaders of other countries, no one is going to want to put him in that position because they believe the individual will not put the people's interest first. The person will put the interest of the Americans or the interest of the colonial masters first. And that should not be the case. And another thing that's been going on in the street or the internet is that Trump is trying to fight countries that are looking to push the BRICS agenda. I don't know how true that is, but eventually, if a lot of people move away, or if a lot of countries move away from the dollar, it's going to weaken the dollar. And if the BRICS is being backed by gold, gold is going to shoot up. If it's being backed by silver, silver is going to shoot up. And the US will start losing leverage on all these countries. So fighting all over the world, making enemies all over the world will not make it better. I want to assure you that it will make it worse if you continue to fight people, if you continue to push for regime change, which is absurd. It's the irony is that the U.S. president campaigned against it during his during his campaign. He said he's tired of the regime change all over the world. He wants to focus on America first, but it looks like the American electorates, they're not getting what they voted for, or maybe some people that voted for the Trump agenda are getting what it would have. But it's just ridiculous that the president is taking this path, and creating more enemies around the world globally will not fix the issues that the Americans are being challenged with. If you go on the street of the social media, you see people complaining about the cost of living crisis. Your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to take you. Many people have to do 2, 3 jobs to make ends meet. If you're working 2 jobs and you got too much debt, you continue to service the debt, and it's going to look like you're not making any progress. So the people who are looking for what is going to favor them, a lot of Americans don't want the war with Iran. They don't want the war that allegedly Israel pushed U.S. to fight. A lot of people don't want it, right? A lot of people want to be comfortable with one job. They want to be able to feed themselves, feed their families. And if this is happening, does that mean the U.S. is slowly turning to a third world country where only the rich folks get everything and they keep everything, and the people at the bottom can't take care of themselves?
I mean, that's that's $1 million question. Only time will tell. With time, we can answer that question. With regards to Cuba, if I were Colombia, I would be worried because it looks like Colombia will be next after Cuba. With regards to to the BRICS countries, I think Trump will definitely pick on or invades the smaller countries that makes up the BRIC. But the bigger fishes, the bigger ones, he will just let them go. A country like Russia, a country like China, India will probably let them go. But the smaller countries like Nigeria, South Africa, I think they will have a field day with them. I don't think they will honestly fold their arms and watch people trying to circumvent the dollar, whether that will be a good fight or that will be a more a justifiable fight. Whether that's a justification to invade people, I'm not exactly sure. But if we bring it down to individual levels, I'm not sure you will be, you and I will fold our arms and watch people, destroy what we have. We'll definitely go to war. So whether that's justifiable, I'm not exactly sure. But I would think that would be an honest fight, trying to protect themselves, trying to preserve themselves.
How
Because
about negotiation, right? How about you negotiate with people instead of fighting them? Because fighting them would not help your cause. It's gonna hurt your cause the more. How
I
about
mean,
you negotiate and give them favorable trade deals in order to, have a win-win situation? Not that you only win for your country and the other countries are left struggling. If you're gonna, try to use a diplomatic route and take care of these things, I believe it'll work. People are gonna want to push back. Trump has been talking tough. The US leaders have been talking tough. But when it gets to it, maybe they'll pay their way for the next few years. If they continue to fight, some people will move, some countries will have to move away from the dollar and go with the BRICS. And it's going to be other countries against the US, and it's not going to be good.
yeah, I mean, there are some negotiations that you don't start until you use force. You use force to bring people to the table. But I don't think the trade deal is what is really pushing people away from dollar. What is really pushing people away from dollar was what happened between the US and the Russia when US and then Euro confiscated the billions and billions and billions and billions of Russia's, citizens and Russian government's assets because of their invasion of Ukraine. That was what happened. Until today, they have a lot of their money that is stuck in Europe. In fact, the owner of Chelsea was forced to sell his Chelsea, his football club. Actually, he did not sell it himself. The UK government sold it and took the money and kept the money. That is what they did to them. So if they decentralize, they move away from dollar, they have another means of trading within themselves. That will probably not happen. In fact, even United Arab Emirates is saying that they will confiscate Iran's assets in their kingdom. That is another problem that is waiting to happen. So it's not about trade. It's about people breaking free from the dollar. Being able to do what they want to do, being able to say what they want to say without consequences or without saying we'll seize your asset, we'll do this, because most countries' foreign reserves is usually in dollar denomination. They can always confiscate it. But when they move away from that dollar, you can say what you want to say, you can do what you want to do. But then again, it has an advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is that the disadvantage is that some of these leaders will go rogue with their citizens. There is nothing to hold them accountable with. But some of them, it will be good for a lot of the countries because they will be able to trade, with themselves and not having to hustle for dollar. Yeah, let us know what you think about the possible invasion of Cuba. For me, I think after Cuba, it was Colombia will probably be next, and then maybe that's where we'll wrap it up. But let us know what you think, and we'll be happy to engage with you in the comment section.